Welcome, wonderful listeners, to the Shadow and Starlight podcast, where two friends deep dive into popular romantasy books. We get into the stories, characters, world building, lore, and so much more.
So buckle your seatbelts for this wild roller coaster ride of emotions, magical worlds, and laughs. I'm Kinsey,
I'm Kana.
and today we're covering chapters 57 through 66 of Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. The last stretch of chapters, folks. The last stretch.
The last stretch of what the fuck just happened chapters. All right. Well, first and foremost, please listen carefully to our content warning. These are adult books we're talking about, and neither of us have a filter, so this podcast is rated R and for those 18 plus. Regarding spoilers, if you have not finished Onyx Storm to the very last page, what are you still doing here? Please come back. Please come back later. While we are discussing this stretch of chapters, we'll be doing so with the perspective of what happens in the entire book for better understanding, to dive deeper into the theories, and appreciate the masterful foreshadowing of Rebecca Yarros. So going forward, all episodes on our show will contain spoilers for the whole series in question.
Next, if you like what you hear today and want more, please come back next Thursday, and next Thursday, and next Thursday, and next Thursday, and every Thursday after that for a brand new episode. As an adolescent,
I feel like we're adults now at this point.
wait, we skipped
After surviving
teenagers.
Onyx Storm. That's what an adolescent means, right?
Shit. Right?
Oh my god. It's the alcohol.
Or is adolescent preteen?
I think it's a gray area, to be honest.
We're high school graduates.
We have our GED in Onyx Storm.
Yes. Oh. For some reason, I was like, wait, GED is college. And I was like, wait, no, it's high school.
No, it's not.
As graduates,
High school.
the podcast world, we would love to hear your feedback to better ourselves and expand our book loving community. Please feel free to give us reviews, reach out to us on social media, and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and watch us on YouTube at Shadow and Starlight Pod.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting episode. We're both drinking alcohol, and also it's the end of Onyx Storm, so just enjoy the ride, please. Mm-hmm. So I'm drinking a vodka cran. What you drinking?
Crown apple.
Forgot.
With strawberry lemonade. So like
it's like she already forgot.
A whiskey cocktail.
Wow, you sound way cooler than I do. Sound like a basic bitch with my vodka cran.
Vodka cran sounds good too, though. This is just like the only thing I had at home that I was actually craving, and I've also been on this whiskey real bad lately.
Yeah, whenever I first could legally drink, I would like never know what to get at the bar. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't want to be basic and order like a vodka cranberry. Now I'm like, cheers.
Yes.
All right. So, a reminder about what we have on our schedule. So, we're taking our little spring break to recover from Onyx Storm insanity. And also, we have a lot going on in our lives right now. So, we're just going to give ourselves a little break that we very, very much need.
Yes.
So, we're going to take this next week off. And then the week after that, we're going to have our interview with Sarah A. Parker releasing. We're about to film with her in a couple days, and we are so excited. Oh my gosh. And then the week after that, so Sarah A. Parker interview will release March 20th. The week after that, we're going to dive right into Metal Slinger. We're probably going to do 5 weeks of that, and I am so excited. I cannot wait.
Yes. All right.
Maybe Rachel Schneider will let us interview her.
Hopefully. All right, folks, time to kick off our episode by Kana leading us across the parapet as she gives us her Shadow and Starlight synopsis, aka her unhinged summary detailing the events of these chapters.
I seriously think we should rebrand as the Mispronouncing Shit podcast.
No, for real, because that's all we do.
Mispronouncing Mythology podcast. Yes. Okay. It is time for the end of book craziness, so let's dive right in. Violet is reeling after learning her sister was nabbed by her venin twin, while those around her debate who's going to Duchess to most likely never return. Emotions are running high, time is short, and decisions have to be made. With Brennan as lead strategist, how suspicious might I add, they set one objective: kill Theophanie. After a short flight later, the preordained gang touches down on a truly terrifying scene taking form at Drathis. Tyne is strapped down and Mira has a blade to her throat, courtesy of that twat Theo. Violet slides into a lethal killing calm while Theo antagonizes her, hinting at our lightning wielder turning venin before this battle is over. In the nick of time, our big bag distance wielder shows up with Jack, fulfilling their end of the bargain. The problem with venin bargains, though, they aren't super trustworthy. Violet learns this the hard way when Theo slits Mira's throat. Holding her bigger sister and praying to every deity, Violet is trying her best to comfort her. Brennan is failing to mend her open wound, and while this whole shit show is happening, runaway Sloane shows up with Dane chasing after her. Bro, you are literally a first year, but okay, thank the gods you brought a letter from the dude who can see the future. And double thank the gods she's here because she can siphon more power to the traitor. I mean, the mender. I mean, Brent. Dane, Izir Atos, walks her through the process, successfully saving Mira's life and causing the whole fandom to scream about the newest and hottest enemies to lovers storyline. After a smoldering goodbye between our main characters, everyone departs to do their jobs and hopefully survive. To save an unconscious green boy, Taryn takes Tyne a safe distance from the active war zone, leaving Violet stranded in a rather precarious position. Unable to leave the ground and unable to access Taryn's power. Her and Bodhi don't have to wait long for Theo to seek them out. After trying to get a rise out of the two of them in her condescending venin way, it's time to battle. But first, two reveals. Bodhi can't counter venin signets, and Theophanie is the balance to Lilith's storm-wielding signet. Bodhi is snatched away by his dragon to protect Tyrandor's succession, and Violet uses some explosives to yeet Theo like a ragdoll and buy herself some more time to figure out how to not die. That doesn't last long because Theophanie has Violet pinned and vulnerable in moments and tells her she can't save everybody. Well, guess what, Theo? She ain't got to. The Iron Motherfucking Squad got her back. And hello, Rhiannon. And hello, new Pav. With the pressure and immense responsibility of lives and leadership hanging on her shoulders, we get to see the one who is made for battle in action and her sassy dragon. With only 3 dragons and 4 griffins, this part of the Iron Squad starts taking Wyvern down left and right. With Riddick literally freezing an entire Wyvern and the Flyers using explosive runes, they continue to hold Madaro Pass. We're back with Violet next chapter, who uses the good old bash your head with my head trick to stun Theo. With her desperation showing, Theophany finally tries to kill Violet, who buries herself in a wyvern carcass to avoid being drained. And right after, Uber Sagale is there to pick her up, and then swiftly drop her to go flying through the air until Uber Taryn picks her up, and right back into battle they go. The lightning wielder starts dropping Walmart dragons left and right, and chaos erupts all around them. But they stick to their orders, flying back to kill Theophany. Imogen's Pop is a gut-wrenching emotional journey in which we lose Iron Squad member Quinn because it's Rebecca Yarros, y'all. Of course, we were getting out of this epic battle tear-free and death-free. The only bright side is we get to read about Imogen's argument with her dragon about how many wyverns she downed. And she has an awesome second signet. And she really does have a crush on Garrick, who hopefully isn't the new venin brother so that they can live happily ever after. But I will say it's not looking too good. Pursuing Theo, Violet is grappling with her lack of aim and calculating how much of a shit show everything is when her and Taryn get caught in a net like little fishies. While she hurries to free him, she notices Aric's little gift, a blade courtesy of Dune herself and a little note to strike in the dark. Word? Bet. Strike after strike, Theo is too fast. Violet switches tactics, asking her if she yearns for Temple. Gotcha, bitch. With an assist from a freshly channeled from the source Xaden shadows and an invisible dragon, hey Andarna, Violet realizes exactly what the spare heir to Navarre is and does exactly what he said, strikes in the dark. Good riddance, Theophany, we will not miss you. Ah, yes. The final 2 chapters of what the fuck is going on, and I'm confused, Rebecca. First things first. Traitor reveal, Pancheck, you sniveling little coward. Second, goodbye to the Xaden we all know and love. Hello, full ASIM Xaden, who is pretty fucking hot, taking down all these wyvern and venin while coasting down to new depths of earth-shadowing power and no morality. After a quick conversation with Sagale that is the most confusing string of words I have ever read with my eyeballs, we are yeeted into the final chapter. Basically, Xaden's gone, Violet's married to him, and is now the Duchess of Tyrandor. There are missing dragon eggs, murdered dragons and riders, and Darna is suspicious of Brennan, and Imogen has wiped Violet's memory per her request. What the actual frick-frack snick snack?
Frick-frack snick snack.
Frick-frack snick snack. Yeah, that was, God.
Terrifying.
I went back and reread the last 2 chapters multiple times.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's happening still.
Yeah.
Xaden's conversation with Sagale, I'm just like,
it literally
who is she?
Can be anybody. And the amount of time that Rebecca used just pronouns for like some unknown character in this book is so annoying because I just want to know who.
Yeah. They kept saying she, and I read it so many times that I'm beginning to think they're talking about different she's. They're just not referencing
To
by name
one, yeah.
as they change in she's, but I don't think it's just one girl
I know
or
for
woman they're
sure
talking about.
they're in one of those they're talking about Violet, but
Yeah.
then
And I
it's
think
like
one of them is Andarna.
I think the other one is the priestess because he says someone owes him a favor. It's just like
Yeah.
shit. After that, very, very plain.
Yes.
After that, very. What word am I looking for? Very. I got this.
um Catastrophic.
After that, very catastrophic,
Traumatizing.
traumatizing, terror,
Flabbergasting.
flabbergasting, terrifying, pterodactyl synopsis. It's time to
On the
head into
cross.
our battle brief section where we will discuss all of the things in
Mm.
these stretch of chapters, including foreshadowing theories and our favorite parts. Kata,
Oh my god. This is our last battle brief for a
I
while.
know.
I'm not okay. It's fine. All right. Well, I have a lot that's like 2 pages long per theory slash foreshadowing, so just hold on to your panties, okay? Okay. There was a ton of mention of the gods in this last stretch, even from every character and like every POV. Like even Rhiannon, like first page for POV, she was talking about Sinal twice. I was like, that's interesting. Anyways, I'm not gonna wander into that territory because I do want to talk about Violet. But obviously, with all these mentions of the gods and how the story is unfolding, they're incredibly important players in our story. And based on the last chapter, when Brennan is described as having like bulging eyes and super shocked reaction when he sees Violet at the end of the book, I'm guessing that the Dune priestess not only married her and Xaden, but I also think she finished Violet's dedication to Dune, or possibly wielding the blade from the temple to kill Theophany may have finished her dedication. Finished her dedication, and I think her hair is now completely silver, which is why Brennan is staring right at her and is so shocked, not just staring at the ring on her finger, which is what everyone else was commenting on. I have no idea what the implications for this dedication will be, but I'm assuming from what it sounds like she'll be able to wield Dune's wrath in full now. Not sure what that's going to look like. But there is the whole other issue of Malik, because we know Violet speaks to him all the time, has visited the temple growing up to yell at him. She seems to have an affinity towards him instead of Dune, which is interesting because the Dune priestess told Arik, quote, I will pray to her, aka Dune, that she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who curries her favor. Her path is still not set. It's such a weird word, reacquainting. It's almost like Violet has met Malik at some point that she maybe doesn't remember, but I think it's pretty clear to us readers at this point, based off of how much she speaks to Malik, that this is the one who curries her favor, aka Malik. So I'm curious to see if her connection with Malik will continue now that she may be fully dedicated to Dune, and just really what part Malik plays in the story. Because we've already talked about how Xaden will probably be dedicated to the god of love to save his soul, so not Malik, which is interesting because I would think that it would be that, but it doesn't sound like that's what's happening. But Violet very clearly connects to him, and she even told Malik in the stretch that he couldn't have Mira and, quote, I swear the clouds darken slightly in acknowledgement or maybe mocking. So that's just like another mention of Malik, like right towards the end of this book when all this other stuff with Dune and everything else is happening. So I feel like it's very pointed. And I can't really say I have like a solid theory on where this is going to go, but I just think it's very notable to talk about.
Hmm.
Whew.
It's a lot. But
That was a lot
I do
of words
agree
out of my mouth.
with some of the stuff. Like what her appearance looks like, what like could look like, after the battle and her being mended and stuff or whatever happened. Because Brennan was looking at her kind of weird, but Brennan is also weird as we know.
You got a solid point there.
And also like her whole connection with Malik is interesting too, because I always go back to thinking about what Lilith said in her letter or her journal about never being able to forgive Asher for what he did. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what if he tried to like dedicate her to Malik first, and that's why the priestess of doom was like, she has to like pick a path first, or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
because she already had been touched by Malik.
I just don't think we're gonna be able to figure it out until book 4 comes out.
Yeah, no.
I've spent probably too many hours and minutes thinking about what this all means, especially with the gods.
Yes. Well, I want to talk about a little bit about Arik and a little bit of foreshadowing I saw on his behalf. But
Mm.
of course, we know that Arik's signet is precognition. But I don't know why I didn't find this whole scene weird on my first read. But I found it weird that he was already in Drathis before Tyrion and Violet even got there, and the fact that when he was
Mm-hmm.
spotted, he was being spotted like flying away from the actual
Yeah.
conflict, which is very interesting because they do mention like in that scene that he's not one to run away from a battle. So it's like, one, why are you already here before we are, and two, why are you running? Was it TikTok? Why are you running? Why are you running?
Taryn was mad. He was like, "Coward, why are you running away?"
And in reality, he's the one that saved them all, pretty much.
No, Loki. Well, I haven't looked at the map to see if it made sense, but I know he went and brought the soldiers from the Isle of Luck.
Mm-hmm.
So is that where he was going when they saw him flying south to like go retrieve them? Because I don't feel like that makes sense. Because I have in my head an idea of where Drathis is, and I don't think it's south of like where this it says the soldiers landed at some port. I don't think that's south of it, but I'll have to double check the map.
I don't know where anything is, so I couldn't tell you.
So I've never seen a map before in my life.
I look at the map and I forget everything that's on it. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't like the general layout. you got you got Tyrandor, Navarre, the Isles over there. No idea what else is on there.
I couldn't even tell you where everything was, but yeah, I kind of agree with you when like I think it was last episode before last, when you were saying that Ark might die fighting for the people that he cares about, and die fighting in this war, and his brother might actually take over the crown. And I also seen some just like pretty interesting theories on TikTok about like Ark and Xaden possibly plotting about what happens at the end of the
Mm.
book, and them like people believe that they've been plotting for a while, and I can see that because Xaden's whole thing like is like his secrecy and his shadows, and when he got his second signet, he kept it a secret from everybody. And like if I manifested a signet as powerful as Arik, because I needed it to keep it a secret, because obviously it's something that is really helpful in battle,
Yeah.
I would confide in somebody who literally is the master of shadows. So I don't know. I can see them kind of plotting since Ark can see what happened before it happens, and then he also knows how big Xaden is on protecting Violet, and so I can kind of see them plotting. But I don't know. Those are like some of the interesting things I've been seeing along.
Holy shit! I think they were. Well, okay. I'm later going to talk about why I think Garrick is the new Venom brother against my will. But I just had a thought on. Well, I'm sure Xaden would have married Violet anyways,
Yeah,
maybe. But if Arik and him were plotting and Arik could see the future and maybe saw that Bodhi was the one that turned venin, that would explain why Xaden did the whole thing, like making them get married. So she was the Duchess. So if Bodhi was venin, he's not able to be the next in line. So
yeah,
that would explain why they like hurriedly got married by the Dune priestess
hmm
in that missing time. But I don't know, man. Mm.
yeah. And it doesn't help that Ark was gone when she woke up too, and he
Mm.
was because then Ark and somebody else was missing with the eggs.
What if Arik's the new brother?
I feel like I don't know how that makes sense.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing over here. I don't think that would make sense if he's able to see the future.
Yeah.
But also, who knows? Bodhi feels too obvious. Garrick feels right, but then again, like I don't want it to be Garrick.
Well, we know a few people are missing when she wakes up, so we got a few people to choose from.
There is.
Ouch.
Few people, few eggs. All right. Well, we're going to talk about my favorite person to hate, which is Brennan, because I think we get solid advice that he really is a traitor. Not advice. We get solid evidence that he really is a traitor. So I am back on my Brennan as a traitor BS. So let's talk about some of the hints we get towards the end of the book. And we're going to first talk about the mysterious mark on his hand. So after watching Sloane siphon from Dane to Brennan, Violet thinks, quote, weird, there's no mark at the back of his neck like he carries on his palm. There hadn't been one on Dane's wrist either. So Naelin was a siphon, just like Sloane, and gave everything to save Brennan, which I think we maybe can all agree that giving everything is probably giving his soul and becoming venin. So I think he was either able to channel from the source to finish mending Brennan and it left a mark on his palm, or Brennan truly did die, which I think there's evidence to support this as well, and was reanimated by Naelin, similar to how Wyvern are not born, but they're created with runes. So I saw this theory on TikTok. I don't know who said it, so I'm sorry. But I can't get my head out of that because we know that they create Wyvern and control them with runes. And then Brennan has this mysterious scar on his palm that's described as rune shaped. He also has amber eyes like Xaden's flex. I don't think that's a major piece of evidence because I think he's always had amber eyes. But his name and his dragon's names both have meanings relating to death and resurrection. So that's a big hint there. And based on what we know about Naelin so far and how butthurt Taryn is about it, I think it makes sense that Taryn has been so aggressive towards Xaden and always like calling him the Dark One and saying his soul is gone and like basically telling Violet how delulu she is. I think he's like triggered because his past rider went to the dark side and became a venin. So this is like a wound for him. But if Brennan is really reanimated with a rune or controlled by Naelin through the power of the rune, I think it could possibly answer a plot hole I've had in my mind about Brennan being a traitor. Because I've always wondered, like, well, if he was a traitor, wouldn't Xaden be able to tell? Especially because he can read intentions a lot more easily now and like break through people's mental shields because he's a venin and that's increasing his signet power. But I'm thinking maybe he's unable to read Brennan's intentions or something like that because Brennan may not really be himself. He may be like reanimated in the way that Wyvern are. And I think I really like the storyline because it kind of goes back to like the brothers in the original Fables and how they had to kill one of their brothers. And I'm thinking like it'll kind of be like history repeating itself in a sense where like Violet would have to kill Brennan in the way that the original Fables told. And another piece of just really suspicious evidence to me was in the last chapter. The Andarna says she won't let them burn you, talking about Brennan. And Violet's like, why would my brother burn me? Because he's a traitor. Okay. And then also, it was just super weird in the last chapter too that like Violet noted that the people with Brennan, she had never seen them before. Some dude named like Wilson or something like that. I'm like, why are these random writers with Brennan? Like, this is so weird. Like, the whole situation is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a traitor.
Yeah. It is very weird. I low key think. I don't know. I can't really get my thoughts together with this one because it's like I have a lot of thoughts. Because the three brothers, I'm glad you mentioned that because I don't know. I have a few different combinations for that,
Oh.
but I can't really decide which one makes the most sense. Like I was thinking Xaden, Jack, and whoever else is the other brother, because they use the word brother in italics, which really bothers me. Because I'm like, what does this mean?
Italics, PTSD.
So like I always thought about them as being like the three brothers and something happening, obviously. And then I think about I don't know. Those are like the main three I think about. But I feel like it was three human brothers and then it was one that turned venin. So it's like I don't know if that makes the most sense. Because obviously history is,
well,
is repeating itself.
We've talked about all this like prophecy territory and like how things are predestined, which kind of makes me think back to if history is repeating itself and Violet's gonna have to kill her brother. I feel like that makes a lot of sense because we have been discussing in the past episodes how their parents were saying like her and Mira have to trust each other and they have to
Mm,
stick together. And we're like,
yeah,
well, what about Brandon? They didn't factor them into the story. Like, what if their parents knew that like history was going to repeat itself in this way?
yeah.
Either that or they knew something about Brennan or
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
can see that it being like sort of brothers in this sense, like siblings, like Mira, Violet, and Brennan. I could see that.
Man, talking about all this stuff, I've been like okay, waiting for on like the next book in the series, but talking about all this end book craziness is making me like salivate for it even
Yeah,
more. I'm like,
we have to wait until 2027,
oh my
which I'll be married by then, and hopefully you'll be a mom.
god, ooh, girl, no. Not about you getting married. You're definitely gonna be married, but I don't know. I've been feeling recently like I need to wait longer
Yeah,
because I want to like travel internationally, and also with the state of our country right now, I'm like, should I be having kids anytime soon? I don't
yeah, no.
know,
I
but
have baby
we'll
fever so
see.
bad, but I don't want any
Oh my
anytime soon.
god, stop it!
I know.
Stop it!
Sorry.
Stop it!
All right. Now, okay, so this one's kind of juicy. Like, I wasn't
Ooh,
expecting to get into it as much as I got into it, but I'm glad you left this one because I got into it. So, this is
word.
like a mix of foreshadowing and a theory. So, next, I
Mm.
want to talk about who the heck is the head of the venin and who the hell is he?
All these pronouns, Rebecca.
No, literally. Throughout this entire book, throughout this whole book, Theophany wants Violet in order to show her to the head of the venin, or maybe her mentor, whoever she's trying to impress at this point. She's trying to take Violet to him to impress him. And we don't get a name, we don't get a description. All we get is the pronoun he throughout the whole book. And so we know it's a male. And the way she's so like secretive about his identity like makes me believe that this is an even bigger plot twist than we are anticipating. And it also feels like someone oddly
Yeah.
familiar for some reason. I have a
Mm.
freaking crazy theory. So just bear with me.
I love it. Gimme, gimme.
So I know some people, including Kana, think that Naolan may be the leader of the Venom, but I think something
Maybe.
even more bizarre. So I know that Rebecca Yarros has confirmed that Asher is dead, but there have been multiple instances throughout this whole series where the dead come back to life or as Venom. So she even confirmed
Yeah.
that like he wasn't. She never confirmed that he wasn't coming back. She never confirmed that, but she did confirm that he was dead. And her exact words were, "He's dead, very dead." But like, could this mean something, or am I reaching? I don't know. Let's get into it. This is what I think. I think that Papa Swargal obviously knew more than he should have known about everything, and so much so that he had to start keeping his research a secret. He stopped trusting certain people and telling certain people things, and I just think like, what if he died and came back as Venom, and their mother knew this, and this is why she continued to write him letters after he died. Because
Mm.
some of the correspondences that we get in the chapter headers are not just like from her journal; they're actually addressed to Asher, like they're letters to him. So it's like, why are you still writing him letters if he's dead? You know, I don't know. So what if the only way to learn about the venom was actually in the irits was to become one? And like, is he now among the top of the venom, or is he like close to the top, or like I don't know? He's just a part of that group. And I just like Theo is just so interested in Violet because her father. I don't know why she's so interested in her, but like, is it because she knows her father? Is her father the mentor? I don't know.
she she made a comment this stretch where I don't remember the exact wording, but I like wrote down the book. I was like, is Violet the only lightning wielder? Like there's no venom balance for her
Hmm.
signet. And I was like, is that why she wants her?
Hmm.
Be for a different reason? I have
Yeah,
no idea.
I don't know. And um, then I was asking like, is that the reason why Theophany wanted Violet's mother because the plan was to bring Lilith to her mentor, but obviously Lilith is
Hmm.
unalive. So I don't know. Another like thing I thought was like suspect was his name. So I know a lot of people. I don't know what is for certain when it's not. I just know I've been seeing online. It's this big hoop about his dang on name Daxton. His last name Daxton. So like, was is that his actual surname? Like his like, was it maiden name? Maiden name or or like did he change it? Was it a fake name or did he actually married Lilith and took her last name because she was more powerful?
Hmm. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people like thinking and talking about that, but I'm just like he took her name because she was a badass,
But
obviously.
has it been confirmed yet though? It's the thing. Like it's
No,
so
nothing's been
suspicious.
confirmed.
It's so suspicious that he had two names. Like, was he going under a fake alias as a writer?
Hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, I am so lost in the sauce with this because I have been thinking it's Nailin for so long. But I was thinking today, like, Nailin wouldn't have been Benin for that long. And here we have people like Theophany, and I think Berwyn is probably really old too, that are like
Hmm.
centuries old, like, have mastered being a Benin. So I'm like, why would Naolin be on top of them
Yeah.
unless he has like some really incredibly rare Venin signet, which I think unless he has a second signet, he would still be a siphon. So I don't know. I don't think it's Naolin anymore. I think Papa Sorrengill is probably a solid theory, but I'm like mind boggled trying to think of who else it could be because I feel like it would have to be someone we know
Yeah.
or like some kind of big plot twist in that way. Like, is it one of the first six? I don't know,
Yeah.
but I do like all the evidence you brought for your Papa Sorrengill theory because you got some good juicy shit in there.
Well, I'm gonna play my own devil's advocate here because
Okay.
well, devil's advocate, but also supporting my details. So like, could a scribe become a villain if there's no power that they're actually trying to? That they don't have power, so could they still access that power from the ground? And if the answer is no, then what if Papa Sorgirl did use the name Daxon as an alias to become a writer, and kind of like Arik is doing, and he actually can wield?
That was wild. That was a wild statement. Well, I think Violet asked Jack, she was like, can anyone turn? And he said yes, but it's easier for riders too, since they
Okay,
already wield like the flow of magic.
so
But
it
I
is
guess anyone could
possible.
turn,
Okay,
I think.
so it's
Don't
possible.
don't someone fact check me, but yeah. Oh my gosh. That was wild. Okay. Let's do the next one. We're gonna talk about Xaden, and boy, this is a long one because I'm going to address his cure and also his relationship with Sigale and what I think that means for the end of the book. So let's talk about it. Theophany tells Violet that their kind are like master actors, but like they really don't feel love, which I can believe because has been on the when he's been on the ice, he's like completely just detached emotionally, and like Violet is obviously able to pull him out of it, but I can see how that is. But it's interesting because even though Xaden has not progressed fully, his love for Violet seems to be the biggest thing that's tethering him to his stability, his humanity. In a previous episode, we discussed our theory that Xaden will have to dedicate himself to the god of love, Loyal, to change his soul irrevocably, aka get his soul back. And in this stretch, Thea also says that if she were to return to Dune's temple, it would, quote, sever the very thing that's kept me untouchable all these years. And I think it's pretty obvious she means like sever, like if she were to go back to Dune's temple, she wouldn't be a venin anymore. So I'm like, is this just the cure, like right out here? Like, did she just say that? Like, Xaden will have to dedicate himself and go to a loyal temple to sever the part of him that's venin and get his soul back?
Hmm.
I don't know if it's that easy, but like, that's what I took from that statement from Theo. But before we even get to curing him, we always have to deal with the fact that our married man ran off to God's know where and has become the ice. Ooh, scary. And I also saw this theory somewhere. Again, forgot to write down the names. I'm so sorry. But I am. theorizing with this random person on TikTok that Imogen actually wiped Violet from his memory so that he won't try to come back for her if he has a rare moment of like humanity. Because I think he's just an ASIM at this point. He hasn't like progressed to a Maven or anything like that. So I think if he were to have a rare moment of humanity, he would like come racing back to Violet because obviously, like we saw in the last spy scene, he didn't even mean to show up in Erasure, but like he literally couldn't resist going to her. So I think he probably had Imogen wipe his Violet from his memory, which would be wild because in book 4 we have the potential for Violet to come across Xaden and he not remember her,
That'll be
which
lit.
would be crazy. But let's talk about Sigale really quick. So I think Sigale went with him. I've said this before in previous episodes, but considering how strong their bond is and they may not have a choice to really separate, I think it's pretty valid. Like even in Xaden's last chapter, he was saying like Sigale was the first one to like see me for what I am, like the first one to choose me. And even after he channels all that magic from the source, like she doesn't necessarily forsake him, it seems like. Like at this point she's kind of accepted what he is in a sense. But and we see in that chapter how protective Xaden is of Sigale. He's like, I'm taking the one way that Sigale will make it out of this alive. Like in a way that rivals his desire to protect Violet. So I think it is highly likely that Indarna helped break the mating bond with Taryn so that Sigale can go with him at the end of the book and run away. So on this point of Xaden possibly not remembering Violet on that theory, I have also a wild theory. I'm just going to stack right on top of that one. So in I think it's Fourth Wing, we learned that the patch on Dane's uniform for his memory retrocognition signet is a compass. And then I realized that Violet got a compass at the Isle of Luck. And I was like, do these things go together? But well, he does have a buttload of power according to Sloane, and he also has a signet that can deal in like bring in like identifying memories. I think maybe even if Imogen erased them, Dane could possibly bring them back. So maybe
Mm.
Dane would be like the key to restoring Xaden's memory and possibly Violet's of just the 12 hours.
Mm.
Because Violet's given a compass, Dane has a compass patch, and Xaden is her
Mm.
home that she needs to find with her compass. Yeah. That was like a lot of wild theories that like all have to work in tandem, but I love it.
I like that though. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Like it a lot.
I liked it a lot. And then Dane kills himself for Violet at the end.
What? I thought you thought he was hot now.
I know. I just had to throw you off.
I was like, we can't seriously be back to the bare minimum.
But no, to go back to what you were saying about like dedication maybe being the cure, I can see that being true because literally the thing that killed Theophany, like the killing blow was it like a dagger, knife?
Yeah, it was like a dagger made out of the temple
Yeah.
stone. I think. Yeah.
So if that can make them perish, what if that can also like make them human again? Change? I don't know. But I like that you pointed that out because it kind of got my gears turning.
I think way back when I discussed a theory where I thought she would have to kill him and then use Malik to resurrect him.
Yeah.
So I just like just popped in my head. I was like, what if she has to kill like what if he has to like be dedicated to a god? She has to kill him with the temple stone from the blah 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 blah. And then
Yeah.
she has to use Malik's help to bring him back.
Hmm.
That's a lot.
That's
That's
a
probably
lot.
highly unlikely.
I mean, leave it up to Rebecca to like write a lot of shit. So
Yeah, I know. I'm really grasping for straws here.
we all are. We all are.
I'm digging for crumbs.
We are Laura.
Okay, well, let's talk about the new brother now. So I know you outlined a theory a few episodes ago about how you think Bodhi is a new theory, and I was like, I think you're right. But I swear to God, now I think it's Garrick. And I think I've been trying to convince myself it's not him because I'm low key in love with him and I low key love Imogen so much that I'm like, she just lost Quinn. She can't lose her crush too, okay? Our girl needs some help. Anyways, I just went through and looked at the evidence and I'm like, damn it, I think it's Garrick. So let's talk about it. So considering considering who knew about Xaden and watched him fail these past months, according to him, it can be only three, because there's three dudes that knew about it. It can be Bodhi, Brennan, or Garrick. And with Bodhi and Garrick missing at the end, I think that kind of narrows it down to those two. So let's look at Garrick's activities. So after he drops off Imogen, he says that he cannot distance wield again to get to Erasure or he would never make it back. So we know he is nearing the edge of burnout. And then he says after that, quote, "So I'd better find some fucking way to do something." Do you mean channel from the source? So in the place he took Imogen, Bodhi is also there, and he's in really bad shape. He's like throwing up, and his dragon has like a hole in his wing. Like things are not good. And then Imogen also noticed that Garrick's dragon is nowhere in sight, which makes me think that it's with Xaden, because Berwyn, the sage, has dragged Xaden like far away from Drathis in like a canyon way south of there. So we know that Garrick's dragon is missing. And then we also know that at the place where Xaden is with the sage, there's an unconscious dragon and then his new venin brother. So I think it makes sense that Garrick would be the only one able to get there that quickly by channeling so that he can wield again and distance wield to get to Xaden. And then obviously we have the dragon there, so that would be Garrick's missing dragon. I'm not really sure what happened to Shadra to get him to be unconscious, but I can't work out in my head how Bodhi would get to where Xaden was that fast after we just saw him where Imogen was in bad shape without someone transporting him and his dragon was wounded. And truthfully, we don't really know much about Garrick's intentions. We never like get like a lot of dialogue from him on like what he really wants or what he really thinks. Rebecca says that the new brother is someone that wants more than what they have. And Bodhi has been so insistent all book, like, I don't want the crown, like, I don't want the title, like, I'm good, let me choose my own path, stuff like that. I'm like, maybe we should listen to him, because it seems like he is pretty content being who he is. But we don't know that much about Garrick. We know that Garrick was, like, extra watchful of Xaden during Onyx Storm. Like, yeah, as his best friend, but I kind of, like, am looking back at that watchfulness as, like, something we're calculating now. And I also think that because Xaden has a closer bond to Garrick than he does to Bodhi, even though Bodhi is technically his family. I think Garrick is like really like his one guy, like that's his best friend, which is why he says he couldn't kill him any more than he could kill Violet. And then also the missing dragon eggs. We know that Umbriel wanted eggs to secure an alliance, and I think the only person that would be capable of stealing them from where the hatching grounds are and getting them out fast would be our distance wielder, who was already nearing the edge of burnout hours ago. So I think he would have to channel from the source and able to get to Xaden and get to the eggs and deliver them to Umbriel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Garrick. I'm upset. I don't want it to be him, but I think it's him.
Yeah, it might be him.
Shit.
I can't really argue with you there. But I feel like
the logic is sound.
The logic is great. But I feel like Rebecca, she's screwing with us. Because she always puts everything on the page. We know that about her. And she's put several different things on the page. Like the whole end of the book scene where Andorna's like, I won't let him burn you. That's an obvious standout. Of course, yes, we know that we think that he's a traitor, but he could be the brother. Or because he is actually a brother. So it's like the italicized brothers was getting me. Because he's actually a brother. And Adorna had that whole little thing. And I don't know. But then, like, part of me, I've been seeing some theories about Liam. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw a theory where, like I was saying, Brandon was reanimated after death. There's a theory that Liam was too.
Yeah.
I was like, bruh, I can't handle this. I don't know, man. I'm stressing, actually, looking. But I'm really excited. I feel like at the end of Iron Flame, I had like an idea of what Onyx Storm was going to consist of and like where it might go.
Yep.
And like, I was off to some degree, but I was also like right to some degree.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the end of Onyx Storm, I'm just like genuinely have no idea what's going to happen next book. Like,
Oh.
Violet's gonna be the Duchess, but she's also still gonna be a Basgiath cadet.
Mm-hmm.
Violet Xaden's gonna be missing, may not remember her, but like also that's just a theory, so maybe he does. Like, what is gonna happen? How is the war gonna look like? Because I feel like it's at such a breaking point like now. Like they're literally all over the continent, and thank God Tyrandor has lords now, but I have no idea what book four is gonna consist of.
Yeah, me either. This is rough.
We have 2 years to figure it out.
Yep. Yep, right about that.
Well, one of these days I'm gonna call you and be like, I figured it out.
I know it. I know.
Probably not. Probably not. I'm lost.
Ready to talk about our favorite moments?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. So I don't really have specific moments, but I have things that I like was excited about. So the first thing was all the action. I love me a good old romance. Yes, I do. But I also love me a good fast paced action battle scene. And Rebecca Yarros delivered with like a 50% tip. So so much happened this stretch, and I was like stressed the first and the second time I read all of this, and I was experiencing so many emotions. Like I was crying, I was yelling, I was pacing, my heart was beating, I was like sweating, I was like, it was a lot. I was like having a full on crash out. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I actually cried about Quinn, not the first time, but the second time I did.
I really didn't care about Quinn dying.
God damn.
Sorry.
Heart. You're ruthless.
I wasn't emotionally attached to her, so like her death was just like, okay.
I wasn't either. I think I was attached to one, how cool her signet was,
Yeah.
and I'm also super attached to Imogen for some reason. I was just like, it was bringing feels because I love Imogen, and like that's her one person she feels like safe with, and like just gets her.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, it's like losing your best friend, and then that just made me start crying.
I'm not that emotionally attached to Imogen either.
She's so awesome.
Has anybody else called her Jen other than Quinn?
I don't think so. That was totally new.
Okay. Anyways. My next the next thing I was excited about this book or this stretch was the fact that Andorna came back. Like, hello girl, welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah. I call her Andy in the outline. I thought it was cute. Welcome back to the party, Andy. So
I want to know her thought process from like when she left Violet to go with Leothin to her family. Yeah. Like when was the point you decided to turn back? Yeah. Or like did Auric go and get her or something because she knew that he would be needed?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, only thing I have to say about that is Andorna don't do that shit again. Okay. Love you. Love you, queen.
Love you, queen. You're a traitor. We have beef.
And the last thing is like high priestess or duchess ? Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, but Violet is literally that girl. She's not only is she the baddest dragon rider to step foot in Basgiath, but she was almost a high priestess. Like, ma'am, you are almost a high priestess, and then you became a dragon rider and bonded 2 powerful dragons, and now you're a duchess. She was born for this.
Dude, I love her. She is so badass in a way that no one expects.
Yeah.
And even there was a line when Taryn was saying like she needs to be okay with people sacrificing their lives for her because like she is the weapon.
Yep.
Especially if it's true that she's the only lightning wielder and there's no venin balance for that kind of signet. Like, girl, you are that bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite part was all the new paws because I was not expecting them. But dude, the scream I scrumped when this writing, when Violet said this writing, when Violet says, quote, when push comes to shove, I'm not the best of us. She is. And then that's the end of the chapter, and we go right into our first Rhiannon chapter. I was like, dude, chills. But I thought it was funny because my first read, I was in like stress survival mode, and I didn't even realize like she meant Rhiannon. I thought she was talking about Theophanie, like, oh, she's better than I am. Totally missed that part. But on a reread, I was like, oh my god, she's talking about her best friend. That's so cool. And I also love that we got another Xaden bonus chapter, even though I have beef with it. It's so confusing. But it was such a treat to get to see inside other characters' heads, like Rhi and Imogen. Like, I totally did not expect that. And it's so cool and awesome to see like how they interact with their dragons. That was one of my favorite parts. Like, we've learned at this point, thanks to Riddick and Aotram's prank war, that like every dragon rider relationship is so different. And I was just geeking because Rhiannon's dragon was so sassy. And then Imogen and her dragon were just like arguing the whole time about like whether the death count was like 16 or 17. I was like, dude, this is literally pure gold. I love it. I hope we get some more different pavs in the future.
Yes.
My next favorite moment. Speak of me. Getting hot over here. Dane, eyes on me, gods, don't I know it? Sir, why would I sell my soul to lick your face?
Lick this face is crazy.
I don't know. Okay, he's doing things to me when I'm reading the scene again. But I'm just like, I'm dead because he had literally no game with Violet for over a decade. But this man is like smooth operating when it comes to Sloane. I'm just like, yo. Once again, the scream I scrumped when he was talking to Sloane. Quote, eyes here. You're not a weapon of destruction. You're not venin. You're the artery power chooses to flow through your life. I would have just attacked him right there.
Oh, beautiful.
As in climbed like a tree. Oh my gosh. I love it. I cannot wait to see how that love story develops. And it better develop into a love story or I am seriously gonna have a problem, Rebecca. Okay. My last favorite moment was Aric's reveal. I get chills every time I read through like Violet's realization of what Aric is and how he's been using the signet the whole time and like the message he left her with the dagger. And I'm just like, what? This guy is like playing chess this entire book and no one knows. And I'm wondering, because we kind of already talked about it earlier, maybe he told Xaden, but why not tell anybody in his squad? Maybe it's because he didn't understand what he was manifesting, or he was maybe worried that Navarre would kill him for such a dangerous signet. Because if there is traitors in leadership, I think that he would be able to see in the future, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, we really have no idea how his signet works, but I think that's a possibility. And I'm also wondering, who is the balance for this on the venin side? Do they also have like a full precog venin? Because that would probably be bad.
Yeah. If there is a balance. Okay, wait. Never mind. I had a theory, but then like it's not really a theory anymore. Wait, maybe it is a theory.
Oh.
What if the 6 most powerful signets?
Mm-hmm.
What if the 6 most powerful signets don't have a venin counterpart? Mine is Xaden now because he is a venin.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Because I don't remember anybody else having a venin counterpart.
Yeah. Well, I know for sure that I don't think Xaden has one, or we probably would have learned about it at this point.
Yeah.
Because they've already said, I think Violet has already reflected, like, if the venin had a lightning wielder and a shadow wielder on her side, like, the war would be over.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. I think you might be onto something there. And the whole thing of, like, Theo was saying, like, once every few centuries, we have a chance to tip the scales. I almost feel like that's what happened with the first 6 in the Great War. Like, the riders were able to tip the balance in their favor and banish the venin to the barons. And now, like, they've been waiting for these signets to reemerge so that they can maybe tip the balance back in their favor. I don't know. Oh, man. I think we're getting close to some real good
I like the way you think.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
right. Well, we're actually going to skip Myths and Magic. We wanted to dedicate most of this episode to talking about theories and foreshadowing because it is end of book and end of series for the next 2 years. So yeah, we're gonna move on right to the flight field.
Yeah, which I'm glad we did that because we're already at over an hour and we have only talked about theories. Also, I kind of freaked out when we first started recording because like, oh shit, I didn't do the Myths and Magic part. I didn't do my part, and I was like, oh wait, we skipped it.
Thank God.
But
Yeah, it was
yes,
just too much.
moving on. It's time to head to the flight field where every week Kane and I would do 2 mini-series unique to our podcast. They won't be the same every week, so keep tuning in for all the fun. This week we're doing our things that we're looking forward to in book 4 and unhinged one-sentence summaries.
Grr. Okay. 5 things I'm looking forward to out of book 4. So I know I said I think Zagail goes with Xaden, and she'll probably maybe be off page most of next book. I don't know. But I got a little taste of like Violet and Zagail interacting, like mostly just like the lines from Zagail. I was like eating that shit up because I love her. I think she's so interesting. And then we get like one little taste at the end where she like picks up Violet and takes her to Tarn, and they like had a couple lines exchanged, and I just loved it. I want them to interact more. I want them to like team up more. I don't know. I don't know if we'll get that, but I would love to see Sigil and Violet doing their thing together. Second thing, also don't know if it's gonna happen because of shit I've already said in this episode, but I would love to see Garrick and Imogen finally getting together, especially after Quinn told Imogen, literally with her dying breath, like, go get your man. And then third, I want to see Andarna take flight with Violet because I think it could happen. I don't know. But that would be really cool. If not that, I just want to see them like scheme together more
Yeah.
because that was like one of my favorite parts of their relationship in this book because like they were always scheming. Like, and Darna would just go invisible and pop up and be like, "Gotcha, bitch." It was entertaining. And then next, I would love to see Violet dreamwalking into some notable people's heads, aka Melgren. I want her to dreamwalk into Melgren's dream and see what we can find out. I want her to just do like all of Navarre leadership so we can really find out who's a traitor. So I'm most excited out of book 4 to see her dreamwalking signet progress. And I would love to see Riddick Rizmaster keep being an icon and hopefully not die.
Nice. When you were talking about her being in Melvin's dream, I literally want her to be in his dream just to scare the shit out of him. Just like pop up, be like,
I don't
am
think he's
your
a
worst
traitor.
nightmare. I am your worst nightmare. Literally.
Dude, the drama I would create if I was Violet and I could meddle in other people's dreams. Like, I wouldn't even
Bro.
be doing it for like a mission objective. I would
Yeah.
be doing it just like straight up fuck with people.
Yes. Just scare the shit out of somebody.
Oh my god. I hope so. We better get some humor like that.
Yes. But okay. So the things I'm looking forward to. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Dan and Sloan romance because, we love a good enemies to lovers.
Mm.
I'm looking I'm looking forward to more Violet signets. Like Kana said, I want to see her um gain more power in her lightning wielding and in her dream walking action. I want to see some of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see her dream walk into some Venin's head to get answers. I think that would be
Mm-hmm.
really kind of fucking scary, but like
Juicy.
really cool at the same time.
Very juicy. I think, is it Berwin that keeps showing up in Xaden's dreams?
I think so.
So is he like the dream walking balance to her signet?
Maybe because he was very aware that she was in the dream.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like Xaden had the same awareness she did
Yeah.
necessarily.
I
I don't know.
don't know.
We'll see.
The fourth thing is I look he want Riddick to find love? Question mark.
You don't want him to keep being the player he is.
I love him as the player that he is, but we've seen his more serious side this book. So what if this is preparing us?
Who would you pair him with if you could?
It's nobody we've met so far.
Okay, pick someone we've met so far.
Who else is
Would it be
available?
crazy if I said Kat?
Ooh, Kat. Would it be crazy if Rhiannon?
Because she like hates him.
But wait, Rhiannon's like, never mind. She has her own stuff going on.
They already boned, didn't they?
They did?
Or did she bone Sawyer?
I don't know. Him and Kat would be hilarious.
Wing, like very early. Dude, that would be so funny.
Interesting. I don't know. And then the last thing I'm looking forward to is Xaden and Violet like lasting longer than a month without each other. Without her going to Lulu and just yeah.
I think this might be the time because she has bigger shit to worry about than finding her man who's not her man, who's her husband.
Her man who's not her man who's her husband. Yes.
Exactly. Okay, we're gonna do our unhinged one sentence summaries. Should we alternate?
Yes.
Okay. My first unhinged one sentence summary of Onyx Storm. The Iron Squad needs a raise, Mira needs a vacation, Xaden deserves a hug, but also maybe jail, and Violet deserves to sue Navarre for emotional distress.
Yes. Very true. Very true. Jack and Smut about how hard a lightning wielder combined Dreamwalker can strike lightning, and if it is too small, they try again and burn down an entire village in the process.
Oh my god. Basically. You captured all the most important parts.
Yes.
All right. Violet started this book sleep deprived and stressed, and somehow ended up even more sleep deprived and stressed, but now with a royal title and a morally bankrupt husband.
Damn.
It's true. She always starts out the book so down bad, and then you get to end like it's even worse.
Yes. My next one is very short. Sassy Dragon Extravaganza.
Yeah. How about something?
Yes.
And Darna carried.
Yes.
Once again. I love her. All right. My last one. Navarre sucks. The Iron Squad is carrying the war effort on their backs, and Xaden said, "What if I just didn't have a soul?" And now we all need therapy.
Yeah. Basically.
Yes.
All right. The last one. 3 siblings with mommy and daddy issues that result in fake deaths, delusional love obsessions, and an oddly perfect child? Question mark.
Oddly perfect child. You're talking about Violet?
Mira.
Or Mira? Oh, okay. I was like, Violet's got issues.
Yeah, she's the one that's delusional love obsession. Subsessive.
Yeah, Mira's doing pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah.
Just wait until she finally falls in love with her man, Drake, and then their child, Broccoli.
Broccoli.
Oh my god. I saw this video. It was like this cat that was this little kitten that was standing on its back legs, and it had like his little paw up to his head, and it was like a military drum roll, and it was like Broccoli reporting for duty in book form.
Yep.
So adorable. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, before we close out our last Onyx Storm deep dive, it's time for one last sparring session. Kenzie and I have prepared 3 trivia questions each to finish out this deep dive, and with today's results, the loser is going to have to do something embarrassing, funny, or silly, or goofy that the winner or you guys as fans can suggest as well. So we would love to hear your feedback, ideas, and participation in this section.
Yes. You ready, brah?
I'm ready, brah.
All right. What was the final number that Glenn and Imogen agreed on was Glenn's kill count during the battle?
17.
No.
Damn it. 18.
Yeah.
Dang it. That was a very specific
18.
question, you little bastard. Okay. What is the name of the pass that the civilians were exiting Duchess through?
How the hell am I supposed to know?
I did say it earlier this episode, but
You did?
in my synopsis. It starts with a
Moonshine.
That's an alcohol. It was the Madaro pass.
Yeah, hell no, I wasn't gonna get that. Okay. What time was it when Brennan woke Violet up after the battle?
3 a.m.
No.
What? Really?
It was 3 a.m.
It was? I got it right?
Yes.
I was gonna say, I felt like I was very confident in that one. Okay, what nickname does Bodhi use to describe his cousin in this stretch of chapters?
Xaden?
To Violet. It's a nickname,
Okay.
not his name.
No, I'm saying, like, I was asking, like, are we talking about Xaden?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, that's a terrible guess.
nickname? Is it like a goofy nickname or is it like a bad nickname?
It's yes.
Okay. The Dark King. Dark something? Dark something?
He calls him. He looks at Violet after they say goodbye, and he's like, "Now that the Duke of Angst is gone." Haha, got you, bitch. Looks like I might be winning.
Who reads Violet the report after she wakes up at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Oh damn, it's not Brandon. Imogen?
No.
Wilson?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get it though. I said it. That was my second guess. Fucking Wilson. I don't even know who you are, bro.
I don't know who he is either. I just saw a random name and I was like, ooh, this one.
Okay. Last question. What were the last words of Trisilla Cardullo, Imogen's mom?
What the fuck? I just told you I don't care about Imogen. Now you're gonna ask me some personal shit.
It was a chapter header.
Don't die. Form great friendships. Wait.
No. Think about how Imogen is. Where do you think? What kind of mom do you think she came from? One told her to form great friendships.
Her mom said, "Fuck off and die."
Basically. I'll give it to you. She said, "Fuck you."
Really? That's what she said? That's so sad.
Yeah. She said like "fuck you," and then she said one other thing. It was like something in a bar that was like, wait till what happens when they come for you.
Dang.
But first she said "fuck you," so I'll give it to you.
Dang. I mean, I didn't really get it right at all.
Well,
I mean, I lost
how does
anyway.
it feel to lose by? You lost by half a point
again. Fuck.
I feel like I made my questions easier. It's the alcohol. You can't be drinking when it's time to kick my ass in trivia.
Right. Damn.
Oh my god. Well, I didn't get any of them right either. Okay, well, you here first. I'm the winner. Ha. Okay, so let me help. Let me know if you guys have any ideas for what Kenzie's punishment should be. I'm feeling real diabolical. Well, guys, it's over. Literally. That's a wrap on our last deep dive for Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. So we'll see you in 2 years to talk about book 4, but until then, we'll talk about other fantasy books. But we'll say if you did join us for this coverage of Onyx Storm, we're so happy you did, and thanks for tuning in on this wild ride with us.
Yes, remember that we are taking off a week to catch our breath after Onyx Storm's craziness and life craziness for the both of us. But be on the lookout for our interview with Sarah A. Parker, releasing on Thursday, March 20th. And after that, we will be deep diving Metal Singer by Rachel Schneider. And if you haven't binged it yet, this is your sign.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm obsessed.
I'm excited.
I can't wait for you to read it. It does mean the world to both of us to hear feedback from you guys. So while you're here listening to our podcast on YouTube, whatever, if you could just give us a little snippet of something, whether it's a review, a like, a subscribe, a follow, anything like that, it'll make our freaking day. And I feel like the biggest thing you guys can do for us is if you like our podcast, tell your friend. If you have a friend who reads the same books as you do, tell a friend to check out our podcast. Word of mouth, I think, will be big for us. So, yeah, tell a friend.
Tell a friend to 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 tell a friend.
So how many friends they got?
To tell a friend.
Yeah, tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
Did you say tell a friend?
Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Tell a friend.
Okay, bye. We're very silly.
Very.
Goodbye.
Bye.
We'll see you March 20th with Sarah A. Parker. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, y'all. That was a truly beautiful wild ride.
Yes.